Hey everybody, it's Carm here, coming to you on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Memorial Day weekend here in the States. About an hour ago we had some rain, pretty ominous clouds coming in, but it's cleared up nicely, and yeah, just wanted to come on and show something that just came a few days ago. I had ordered this album about a month and a half ago, and found it at a pretty cheap price, but just had to wait a little longer for it. I know Gary's talked about it, and I think Derek showed it in a video. Received it as a gift from Dauner in Germany, and it's the latest from Dauner, Wolfgang Dauner, and his son Florian Dauner, or Flo. It's from 2015, so fairly, relatively recent. They did an earlier one together from 2013, which I put off to the side earlier, and of course I can't remember which side I put it on, so I'm sure it'll turn up later after once I've uploaded this. But was really looking forward to this. Terrific album. Wolfgang Dauner, piano, keyboards, all kinds of keyboards, composer, and his son Flo, who's a wonderful drummer and percussionist. And this was recorded in October of 2015 at the Kunstmuseum Stuttgart. It was commemorating their 10th anniversary, and he created the music specifically for the event. Now on here it says 40 minutes, 45 seconds. It's actually just over 44 minutes, but so it's nice you get a little more than what you had expected, and it's really just one long piece of music. Really heavy, amazing stuff. Great interplay between the two. It's a combination of improvised and composed material, but not necessarily in the way that, as the notes indicate, he had composed it for the event, which kind of weaved in thematic material from stuff he'd recorded in the past and more recent, with passages, freely improvised passages. What it sounded like to me was that a lot of times they're playing very free, very experimental, and every so often out of that emerges a very constructed and very evocative piece, which it doesn't last very long, and then it goes back into more the experimentation, almost like purely textural between the electronics, the piano, and the percussion. The thing I really appreciate about this too is that a lot of times when you have an album on CD, which is one long piece of music, they'll usually index it, at different points where the music changes, so you could access, parts that you like more than others. I actually appreciate that they had it as one continuous piece, so you really don't have much choice but to listen to it as a whole and hear the continuity of it, even with all the changes and all the little shifts in texture and mood and melody. It starts off really sounding like, if you've heard early Stockhausen pieces like Contact, which I think was done for piano, electronics, very early, like pre-synthesizer electronics and percussion. I think that was from the late 50s. It starts off very reminiscent of that, with Wolfgang's electronics, which on here, he was saying in addition to piano, there's older and newer synthesizers. Yeah, piano, keyboards, Omnisphere Spectrosonics, which is a kind of modern sampling instruments. Quarter tone scales studies with EMS Synthy 100. So, yeah, fellow synth nerds, I'm sure salivating over those. And Flo plays acoustic and electronic drums. Now it starts off for the first, I'm not even sure, 8 or 10 minutes in that kind of abstract area. It also kind of reminds me of Vangelis's Boborg, or Boyborg, which is one of his more experimental albums. But then out of nowhere it just starts to get much quieter, and a very beautiful kind of synth texture comes in, very warm kind of shimmery chords, which each time I've listened to it, I've been listening to it for the last several days. It's been wonderful. It reminds me of driving at night, where you see like the streetlights, the high streetlights above, and the way, seeing like raindrops on the window, and the way the light illuminates the raindrops as you're driving past each lamp or each street light. It just has that feel to it, very, very nocturnal and very, kind of desolate traveling music. But then it goes back into more of the, the synthesizer and the drum interplay, more improvised and more experimental. Still very listenable, even though it often strays from conventional melody or harmony or rhythm. And then another piece emerges, which sounded like it was originally from his Zeitloff album, Wolfgang Dauner's Zeitloff album, the late 80s, which is a really nice, again, kind of a droney synthesizer piece, with the drums coming in, providing a backbeat. And then later on it goes into more of a very long section of what sounds more improvised, more textures. And then there's a point where it gets very, very quiet and almost like heavenly, like, you're in daybreak now, and then the clouds start to emerge and you're just floating above the clouds. Then it gets a little abstract again. Now I think I could hear where that Spectrasonics comes in, the sampler, towards the end of the piece, because you hear what sounds like a fretless bass, being played like a rhythm and a melodic part. And it brings to mind a duo I saw with, in fact, there's a couple of videos on YouTube with Lyle Mays of the Pat Metheny Group on keyboards and Alex Kuhn on percussion, and it was specifically for the Spectrasonics, kind of promotional thing, it looked like. And Lyle was playing like this fretless bass sample on the keyboards with Alex on percussion. It sounded very much like that. Even in the notes, it was alluding to like a Jaco Pastorius type thing. So, and that's towards the end of the piece. And yeah, it pretty much ends with that. There's other points in the piece where you'll have more recognizable melody and harmony, but it never sounds, the transitions are never jarring. It really does sound like it really flows together beautifully. Even if you're not normally into avant-garde music or stuff that's more challenging, again, more textural and where there's not as much melody that you could follow, you could still get into it, if you get past those first 8 minutes or so, 8 to 10 minutes, and then just keep. But again, the fact that the piece, it's one continuous piece without those indexes, I think, helps. Because you're able to, and the time really goes fast. I mean, for being almost 45 minutes, it felt a lot quicker, and was just thoroughly enjoyable. And this was recorded just about a few months before Wolfgang's 80th birthday. He was born it was December 30th, 1935. So as of now, he's almost 82, and still an incredible creative force. I'm sure collaborating with his son like this has probably helped, aided in kind of keeping that creative flame going. But he's always done a lot of interesting things. Not just with jazz, but with classical music and performance art, like musical theater. Dabbled in rock, like early fusion, like etc. Played with Eberhard Weber for a very long time, which actually on the earlier Dauner, there's one track on there with Eberhard. But yeah, I couldn't recommend this enough if you're a fan of Dauner, and you like what his son has done too. Wonderful drumming from Flo on here throughout. But yeah, just a testament to, in particular, to an artist who, over 80 years old, is still definitely not resting on past, accomplishments. Still vibrant and creative, and very much worth hearing. Now, I would, if you want to get into something recent of his, I would go for the original Dauner, which is, has the same. It's kind of similar, just non-pixelated cover with the two of them on there. That's more, you could say, I don't know, consonant or just a little easier to get into, a little more straightforward jazz type thing. But no, this is very much worth it. And yeah, who knows where they'll go from here. And again, making use of a lot of the pretty much cutting edge technology with the sampling and everything. And I think they said there was also a little bit of pre-programmed stuff on computer, performing it in real time, and yeah, just an incredible blend. So yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah, Dauner live in Kunstmuseum Stuttgart, Elektronische Mythen, or Electronic Myth. Yeah, beautiful stuff. So yeah, just wanted to come on and show that. It's been my listening obsession over the last 3 or 4 days, and again, I had been waiting for it for about a month and a half, or I don't know, 6 or 7 weeks. But found it at a good price, and well worth the wait. And yeah, we'll see what comes next. So yeah, I hope you're all well where you're at, and here in the States, hope you're enjoying your weekend, holiday weekend, and wherever else you're at, hope it's pleasant like this. Yeah, we'll see what comes next here. Got a few other things I'm looking to put together for a video, and plus I still got meaning to do another book video, which has been a while, but it'll happen whenever it feels like happening. So hope you're all well. Until next time, peace, love, and joy.